Wow, who knew noodles can make me feel even lonelier than I already am? Let's make them.
To start, set a bowl over a scale and add 400 grams of flour,
Adding 400 grams of flour.
along with 8 grams of salt and 200 grams of water.
I'm going to add 8 grams of salt in 2 batches. I'm going to add 200 grams of water. Oh crap, I think I put too much. Take a spoon, take some out to fix the problem.
Form it into a dough, making sure there is no dry flour left behind. This should take around 5 minutes.
Luckily, using my fingers is one of the only things I'm good at. Continue kneading for 5 minutes. After kneading for 5 minutes, the dough looks like this. Why does it look nothing like the video?
After 30 minutes, the dough should feel much more supple and smooth.
Wow, the dough does feel a lot more supple and smooth.
And then knead this for another 3 to 5 minutes.
To make sure I don't mess it up, I knead it for 5 minutes.
After kneading, let rest for 5 more minutes.
Putting it to bed for another 5 minutes.
And at this point, as with any dough, check for a gluten window by stretching the dough to transparent, and it should be able to get really thin before breaking.
Alright, let's give it a test. And stretching it out as thin as... never mind.
Shape the dough into a rectangle, roughly 6 inches long and 12 inches wide.
I skipped this step because I'd never seen 6 inches in my life, and I'm also extremely lazy.
Each noodle sheet should weigh roughly 100 grams.
I actually took the time to cut it at 100 grams this time to at least follow some of the instructions. I realized you can't make noodles out of bowls, so I had to roll them out anyway.
Chop 3 leaves of Napa cabbage.
Chopping whatever vegetables I have in my fridge is not rotten.
1 green onion.
Don't have that.
Of Chinese celery.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what these vegetables are, but I'm sure they'll be fine with the noodles.
1 Chinese chive and grate 4 cloves of garlic.
Again, I don't have these, so I'm just gonna skip them.
Measure out 45 grams of neutral oil in a bowl.
I'm putting the oil straight onto the pan because I hate dishes, and I'm not going to measure it. Who does that?
3 parts or 60 grams of soy sauce.
60 grams of soy sauce.
1 part or 20 grams of oyster sauce.
20 grams of... come out. Oh boy. So I realized I ran out of oyster sauce, so I did the next best thing. I put some hot water in the bottle and give it a good shake to get it all out. Then poured it into the sauce mix.
1 part or 20 grams of black vinegar.
20 grams of black Chinese vinegar.
Along with a little 3-gram pinch of salt and some freshly grated ginger.
You guys can already tell, I skipped this step.
Using a bench scraper or a chopstick, make an indentation down the center.
Making an indentation down the center.
While still gently pulling the noodle, bounce it flat against the work surface in an up and down motion.
I'm banging it against my work surface in an up and down motion and trying to stretch it out at the same time. Wow, I think I'm getting the hang of it. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, you have to subscribe.
Once the noodle is roughly 4 feet long, it should be the correct thickness, and you're just going to pick it up by the center and rip it straight down, forming the noodle ring.
Ripping it straight down from the middle while walking around my kitchen.
Now to cook the noodles, place them in the boiling water and cook them for no more than 2 minutes.
Put the noodles into a pot of... Why do bad things always happen to me? Put them in the pot of boiling water and cook it for 2 minutes.
Make sure you're stirring these with tongs or chopsticks to ensure the strands aren't sticking to each other on the bottom.
This isn't a tong or chopstick, but it should do the trick.
Pull the cooked noodles out of the water and then place them in a large mixing bowl.
Placing my noodles directly onto my plate because I hate doing the dishes.
Toss in the Napa cabbage.
Tossing in my garden salad. 1 for you, 1 for me.
And follow that with a couple spoonfuls of the noodle sauce.
It was at this point that I realized I put way too much water when mixing in the oyster sauce. This is becoming quite the disaster. I'll try fix the problem by adding extra spoonfuls of sauce into the noodles, but we will see.
The aromatics, which are the Chinese chive, the celery, garlic, and lastly pour the spices over top. And you want to leave this in a tight little pile over top, which was what we're going to pour the hot oil over.
I'm missing half the ingredients, so it's going to be a lot easier. I'm putting in a spoonful of chili into each bowl and a spoonful of garlic, and then pour the hot oil over. Now there's nothing else to do but to give it a taste.
Great job!
The noodles are nice and chewy. I love what the hot oil has done to the chilies and garlic. They taste great. But as expected, the sauce does taste a bit watered down, which was my fault. If you guys are watching up to this point, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. I would really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.